Yo guys, what is going on? JP is back with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to Freddie Mercury and AIDS, the heartbreaking story. So, I've been watching a lot of Queen reactions or songs lately and music videos and stuff, so I thought this would be important to check out. Obviously, I know Freddie Mercury passed away. I don't know how that happened, so yeah. Anyways, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get right into it. Make sure you post any recommendations or things you want to watch in the future down below in that comment section, and let's get right into it. Hopefully this was not too distasteful of a video choice for me to react to, but I thought, I really enjoyed this guy's performances, his voice, everything, so I thought it'd be important to watch this. But yeah, let's get it.
How did Freddie Mercury contract AIDS? Freddie Mercury's amazing life and tragic death have captivated fans all around the world for decades. The 2018 release of the Freddie Mercury biopic, named after Queen's biggest single, Bohemian Rhapsody, reignited love for the band and reminded audiences around the world that one of rock's best vocalists was taken from us way too early. So, what happened to the beloved Queen frontman? Freddie died on November 24th, 1991 at the age of 45. Tragically, he suffered from bronchopneumonia, which impacted his airways as a complication from having acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS. The disease was considered one of the biggest health crises of the 20th century. One of the highest profile cases of the disease, along Magic Johnson, it's the final stage of progression caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, that can be passed through sex or from blood. Because of how HIV is transmitted, in the 60s and 70s, the disease became a rallying cry against LGBTQ+ communities, and HIV was leveraged by lawmakers to support their agenda of the war on drugs. This same period of time was when Queen hit their stride and rose to stardom, and all these unique political situations converged. Sure, Queen probably didn't need the negative press surrounding AIDS, but Freddie's fame and iconic status made him an inspiration for those suffering from the disease, and the attention he received also helped him inspire a community that still struggles with persecution to this very day. At the time, a lot of press painted Freddie in a very negative light, choosing to condemn his lifestyle choices instead of sympathizing with a fellow human suffering from one of the worst diseases in human history.
Terrible.
So how did one of the biggest rock stars in history contract this harsh, incurable illness? Well, it's no secret that Freddie lived the rock star life. Queen never shied away from their live fast lifestyle, with plenty of songs about intimacy like Somebody to Love and Fat Bottom Girls, and many more. Freddie's own stage performance, wardrobe, and attitude was all about sex appeal. And sure, that is a staple of the rock and roll genre, with other bands like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles using their fame, fortune, good looks, and music to charm audiences all around the world. Sex and rock and roll go way back. The king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley, was censored during live television performances because people feared his dancing was too promiscuous. If only those same people could see Miley Cyrus's live shows. Freddie himself never really hid his sexuality, but he rarely spoke about it as well. He faced constant backlash and homophobia for his wardrobe and style that mirrored that of gay men at the time. But was Freddie actually gay? We'll answer that question in a bit, but many people believe he was during his lifetime. His AIDS diagnosis only further fueled public outcry against Mercury at a time when many people unjustly believed that AIDS was a disease caused by homosexuality. Many people believed AIDS started with gay populations, and they also incorrectly peddled a false narrative that AIDS affects LGBTQ communities more than heterosexual populations. But recent studies show that the biggest factor for AIDS isn't sexual orientation, but rather how many partners someone has. The more partners, the higher the risk. And while Freddie didn't talk about his sex life to the press, fans and bandmates knew he had tons of partners, both men and women. Freddie would later describe his sexuality saying, "I prefer my sex without any involvement, and there were times when I was extremely promiscuous. I just lived for sex. I'm a very sexual person."
I am not. Yeah, a lot of sex. Try and get out of that one.
So, It wasn't Mercury's choice of partners that made him contract the disease, but rather his rock and roll
Amounts
lifestyle
of
and his
them.
crazy number of partners. After he contracted AIDS, he tried his best to hide it from his band members until he was near the end of his road. But his bandmates knew of his promiscuous behavior. Freddie called love Russian roulette, saying, "I once wrote a song called My Love is Dangerous. I just feel I'm not a very good partner for anybody, and I think that's what my love is. My love is dangerous. Who wants their love to be safe anyway? Can you imagine writing a song called My Love is Safe? It would never sell." But even
That's
though he
true.
thought badly about his love life, he still fell in love a number of times over his life. Did one of Freddie's lovers pass on the disease? Toward the end of his life, Freddie became close with his hairdresser, a man named Jim Hutton, and they hit it off. Jim was Freddie's last love, and he spent the last 6 years of his life together with him. After Mercury passed away, the headlines were furious, with blame pointed at Jim, with accusations that he gave Mercury AIDS. Jim undoubtedly learned of Freddie's diagnosis, but it was actually Freddie who passed the disease on to Jim. Hutton even concealed his own diagnosis from Freddie in his final days because he didn't want to dig into the past. But what about Freddie's first love? It may come as a shock, but his first long-term romantic partner was actually a woman named Mary Austin. He even reportedly wrote the Queen hit, Love of My Life, for Mary.
I need to
The pair
listen
were
to that.
engaged for a time and were together from 1970 to 1976. The couple met when Mary was just 19 and Freddie was 24. And in their early years, neither of them could have prepared for what was to come.
I think I'm bisexual.
In a rare moment of honesty, Mercury told Austin that he was bisexual. Instead of listening to his coming out story, she rejected it and told him she thought he was gay.
And I don't think he ever thought that I would be supportive of him becoming a gay.
The pair split up immediately after that talk, and their separation might have contributed to Mercury's mistrust of his partners and overall emotional distance as he separated sex from love. Although they broke up, Mary and Freddie remained friends up until the end, and she even received the bulk of his assets in his will. Although the movie Bohemian Rhapsody is quite factually incorrect, the scene of their separation is handled very well in it, and it made me cry for them.
I didn't even know there was a movie.
When Freddie described his tumultuous love life, he said, "All my lovers ask me why they couldn't replace Mary, but it's simply impossible. The only friend I've got is Mary, and I don't want anybody else. To me, she was my common law wife. To me, it was a marriage." So the pair had their ups and downs, and an AIDS diagnosis would definitely support why the pair ended their romantic involvement. However, Mary Austin never contracted HIV or AIDS, so she wasn't the one who gave it to him either. She's still alive and inheriting millions from Freddie's royalties, with a 75% stake in his estate, totaling in the hundreds of millions. After Mercury passed
That's
away,
crazy.
she stepped out of the spotlight that her close ties with Mercury had afforded her, and she has continued to live a quiet life ever since. In fact, she is the only one who knows where Freddie's remains are buried. That's true love for you.
And you're fascinated to see this person within, totally at ease and at one with themselves.
Of course, tabloids were all abuzz with rumors and collateral damage that hit Mary too. Tragically, the press hounding Mercury over his diagnosis probably contributed to his untimely death. He stopped getting treatment for his Kaposi sarcoma because he didn't want paparazzi to see him looking so fragile and ill. But even though Mercury died way too early, he went out on his own terms, defiantly stating, "I really don't care. I've lived a full life, and if I'm dead tomorrow, I don't give a damn." At the end of the day, Freddie Mercury never actually said who he got it from or how, and that's probably because he didn't know. From our research, the possibility is that he got diagnosed in 1987 after avoiding the HIV test for quite some time. This makes sense, as Freddie reduced his public exposure and looked visibly sick around after this time. The progression of HIV into AIDS takes a long time, and while normal people can probably track down their partners for testing, Freddie's drug use and rampant sexual escapades virtually made it impossible for him to track down who gave it to him or when he got it. And it's probably best that we don't know. After all, Freddie Mercury was much more than a diagnosis. He was a man, an LGBTQ+ icon, a friend, and a rock legend with an undeniable legacy. So
yeah.
that's the story of Freddie Mercury and his unfortunate diagnosis. Did any of the facts about his life and death surprise you? Let us know in the comments below. And we also released a video showing how the unlikely hero, Wayne's World the movie, reignited Queen's popularity in the mainstream, not once, but twice. Check it out for even more awesome Queen stories.
All right. Okay, so I really don't have much to say. I think a lot of what I was thinking was summed up in the conclusion. Yeah, there's really not much to say here. My opinion on him does not change one bit. He's still an amazing performer and has a great voice, and I like Queen and their music a lot. Definitely unfortunate that he passed away. I think he passed away at like 46. That's way too early. But it seems like he was content with passing away because he was like, I've lived a full life. I could give a damn if I die tomorrow. So, yeah. It's just a heartbreaking story, and it is what it is, but pretty unfortunate. Let me know if I should check out any of these other videos. I thought that was a really well-made video by this channel, Ciaran. So if anyone is interested in supporting them, make sure you do that. I thought it was a well-made video. So yeah, I didn't know about the Wayne's World thing though, how they brought Queen back into popularity. So if you know anything about that, recommend some stuff for me to check out. And that's all I really got to say. Thanks so much for watching and for all the support. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.